Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. This morning I thought I might read a few shorter pieces from the collected teachings of Longpo Cha. This first one, chapter 37, page 425, Learning to Listen. During an informal gathering at his residence one evening, the Ajahn said, "When you listen to the Dhamma, you must open up your heart and compose yourself in its center. Don't try and accumulate what you hear, or make painstaking efforts to retain it through your memory. Just let the Dhamma flow into your heart as it reveals itself, and keep yourself continuously open to the flow in the present moment. What is ready to be retained will remain. It will happen of its own accord, not through forced effort on your part. Similarly, when you expound the Dhamma, there must be no force involved. The Dhamma must flow spontaneously from the present moment according to circumstances. You know, it's strange, but sometimes people come to me and really show no apparent desire to hear the Dhamma. But there it is, it just happens. The Dhamma comes flowing out with no effort whatsoever. Then at other times, people seem to be quite keen to listen. They even formally ask for a discourse, and then nothing. It just won't happen. What can you do? I don't know why it is, but I know that things happen in this way. It's as though people have different levels of receptivity, and when you are there at the same level, things just happen. If you must expound the Dhamma, the best way is not to think about it at all. Simply forget it. The more you think and try to plan, the worse it will be. And this is hard to do though, isn't it? Sometimes when you're flowing along quite smoothly, there will be a pause and someone may ask a question. Then suddenly there's a whole new direction. There seems to be an unlimited source that you can never exhaust. I believe without a doubt in the Buddha's ability to know the temperaments and receptivity of other beings. He used this very same method of spontaneous teaching. It's not that he needed to use any superhuman power, but rather that he was sensitive to the needs of the people around him, and so taught them accordingly. An instance demonstrating his own spontaneity occurred when once, after he had expounded the Dhamma to a group of his disciples, he asked them if they had ever heard this teaching before. They replied that they had not. He then went on to say that he himself had never heard it before. Just continue your practice no matter what you are doing. Practice is not dependent on any one posture, such as sitting or walking. Rather, it is a continuous awareness of the flow of your own consciousness and feelings. No matter what is happening, just compose yourself and always be mindfully aware of that flow. Later, the Ajahn went on to say, practice is not moving forward, but there is forward movement. At the same time, it is not moving back, but there is backward movement. And finally, practice is not stopping and being still, but there is stopping and being still. So there is moving forward and backward as well as being still, but you can't say that it is any one of the three. Then practice eventually comes to a point where there is neither forward nor backward movement nor any being still. Where is that? On another informal occasion, he said, to define Buddhism without a lot of words and phrases, we can simply say, don't cling or hold on to anything. Harmonize with actuality and things just as they are. This next one is chapter 27, page 305, Training This Mind. It's been previously published in a different translation as About This Mind. Training this mind, actually there's nothing much to this mind. It's simply radiant in and of itself. It's naturally peaceful. Why the mind doesn't feel peaceful right now is because it gets lost in its own moods. There's nothing to the mind itself. It simply abides in its natural state, that's all. That sometimes the mind feels peaceful and other times not peaceful is because it has been tricked by these moods. The untrained mind lacks wisdom. It's foolish. Moods come and trick it into feeling pleasure one minute and suffering the next. Happiness, then sadness. But the natural state of a person's mind isn't one of happiness or sadness. This experience of happiness and sadness is not the actual mind itself, but just these moods which have tricked it. The mind gets lost, carried away by these moods, with no idea what's happening, and as a result we experience pleasure and pain accordingly, because the mind has not been trained yet. It still isn't very clever, and we go on thinking that it's our mind which is suffering or our mind which is happy, when actually it's just lost in various moods. The point is that really this mind of ours is naturally peaceful. It's still and calm like a leaf that is not being blown about by the wind. But if the wind blows, then it flutters. It does that because of the wind. And so with the mind, it's because of these moods, getting caught up with thoughts. If the mind didn't get lost in these moods, it wouldn't flutter about. If it understood the nature of thoughts, it would just stay still. This is called the natural state of the mind. And why we have come to practice now is to see the mind in its original state. We think that the mind itself is actually pleasurable or peaceful, but really the mind has not created any real pleasure or pain. These thoughts have come and tricked it, and it has got caught up in them. So we really have to come and train our minds in order to grow in wisdom, so that we understand the true nature of thoughts rather than just following them blindly. The mind is naturally peaceful. It's in order to understand just this much that we have come together to do this difficult practice of meditation. The last talk is chapter 45, page 525, Dhamma Fighting. Fight greed, fight aversion, fight delusion. These are the enemy. In the practice of Buddhism, the path of the Buddha, we fight with Dhamma, using patient endurance. We fight by resisting our countless moods. Dhamma and the world are interrelated. Where there is Dhamma, there is the world, and where there is the world, there is Dhamma. Where there are defilements, there are those who conquer defilements, who do battle with them. This is called fighting inwardly. To fight outwardly, people take hold of bombs and guns to throw and to shoot. They conquer and are conquered. Conquering others is the way of the world. In the practice of Dhamma, we don't have to fight others, but instead conquer our own minds, patiently enduring and resisting all our moods. When it comes to Dhamma practice, we don't harbor resentment and enmity amongst ourselves, but instead let go of all forms of ill will in our own actions and thoughts, freeing ourselves from jealousy, aversion, and resentment. Hatred can only be overcome by not harboring resentment and bearing grudges. Hurtful actions and reprisals are different but closely related. Actions once done are finished with. There's no need to answer with revenge and hostility. This is called action, kama. Reprisal, vera, means to continue that action further with thoughts of, you did it to me, so I'm going to get you back. And there's no end to this. It brings about the continual seeking of revenge, and so hatred is never abandoned. As long as we behave like this, the chain remains unbroken, and there's no end to it. No matter where we go, the feuding continues. The Supreme Teacher, footnote, that is the Buddha, taught the world. He had compassion for all worldly beings, but the world nevertheless goes on like this. The wise should look into this and select those things which are of true value. The Buddha had trained in the various arts of warfare as a prince, but he saw that they weren't really useful. They're limited to the world with its fighting and aggression. Therefore, we who have left the world need to train ourselves. We must learn to give up all forms of evil, giving up all those things which are the cause for enmity. We conquer ourselves. We don't try to conquer others. We fight, but we fight only the defilements. If there is greed, we fight that. If there is aversion, we fight that. If there is delusion, we strive to give it up. This is called Dhamma Fighting. This warfare of the heart is really difficult. In fact, it's the most difficult thing of all. We become monks in order to contemplate this, to learn the art of fighting greed, aversion, and delusion. This is our prime responsibility. This is the inner battle, fighting with defilements, but there are very few people who fight like this. Most people fight with other things. They rarely fight defilements. They rarely even see them. The Buddha taught us to give up all forms of evil and to cultivate virtue. This is the right path. Teaching in this way is like the Buddha picking us up and placing us at the beginning of the path. Having reached the path, whether we walk along it or not is up to us. The Buddha's job is finished right there. He shows the way, that which is right and that which is right, that which is right and that which is not right. This much is enough. The rest is up to us. Now, having reached the path, we still don't know anything. We still haven't seen anything, so we must learn. To learn, we must be prepared to endure some hardship, just like students in the world. It's difficult enough to obtain the knowledge and learning necessary for them to pursue their careers. They have to endure. When they think wrongly or feel averse or lazy, they must force themselves to continue before they can graduate and get a job. The practice for a monk is similar. If we determine to practice and contemplate, then we will surely see the way. Ditthi-mana is a harmful thing, means view or opinion. All forms of view are called ditthi, seeing good as evil, seeing evil as good, any way whatsoever that we see things. This is not the problem. The problem lies with the clinging to those views, called mana, footnote, conceit, pride, holding on to those views as if they were the truth. This leads us to spin around from birth to death and completion just because of that clinging. So the Buddha urged us to let go of views. If many people live together, as we do here, they can still practice comfortably if their views are in harmony. But even 2 or 3 monks would have difficulty living together if their views were not good or harmonious. When we humble ourselves and let go of our views, even if there are many of us, we come together at the place of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Footnote, the triple gem. It's not true to say that there will be disharmony just because there are many of us. Just look at a millipede. A millipede has many legs, doesn't it? Just looking at it, you'd think it would have difficulty walking, but actually it doesn't. It has its own order and rhythm. In our practice, it's the same. If we practice as the noble Sangha of the Buddha practiced, then it's easy. That is, supatipano, footnote, those who practice well. Those who practice well. Ujjupatipano, footnote, those whose practice is straight or direct, those who practice straightly. Nyaya-patipano, footnote, the footnotes here are very similar to what's in the text, so just to say that. Nyaya-patipano, those whose practice is possessed of insight into the true way, those who practice to transcend suffering. And Samiji-patipano, footnote, those whose practice is possessed of complete rightness or integrity, those who practice properly. These 4 qualities, established within us, will make us true members of the Sangha. Even if we number in the hundreds or thousands, no matter how many we are, we all travel the same path. We come from different backgrounds, but we are the same. Even though our views may differ, if we practice correctly, there will be no friction. Just like all the rivers and streams which flow to the sea, Once they enter the sea, they all have the same taste and color. It's the same with people. When they enter the stream of Dhamma, it's the one Dhamma. Even though they come from different places, they harmonize, they merge. But the thinking which causes all the disputes and conflict is ditthi-mana. Therefore, the Buddha taught us to let go of views. Don't allow mana to cling to those views beyond their relevance. The Buddha taught the value of constant sati, recollection. Whether we are standing, walking, sitting, or reclining, wherever we are, we should have this power of recollection. When we have sati, we see ourselves, we see our own minds, we see the body within the body, the mind within the mind. If we don't have sati, we don't know anything, we aren't aware of what's happening. So sati is very important. With constant sati, we will listen to the Dhamma of the Buddha at all times. This is because eye-seeing forms is Dhamma, ear-seeing sounds, ear-hearing sounds is Dhamma. Nose-smelling odors is Dhamma, tongue-tasting flavors is Dhamma, body-feeling sensations is Dhamma. When impressions arise in the mind, that is Dhamma also. Therefore, one who has constant sati always hears the Buddha's teaching. The Dhamma is always there. Why? Because of sati, because we are aware. Sati is recollection. Sampajanya is self-awareness. This awareness is the actual Bhutto, the Buddha. When there is sati sampajanya, understanding will follow. We know what's going on. When the eye sees forms, is this proper or improper? When the ear hears sounds, is this appropriate or inappropriate? Is it harmful? Is it wrong? Or is it right? And so on like this with everything. If we understand, we hear the Dhamma all the time. So let us all understand that right now, we are learning in the midst of Dhamma. Whether we go forward or step back, we meet the Dhamma. It's all Dhamma if we have sati. Even seeing the animals running around in the forest, we can reflect, seeing that all animals are the same as us. They run away from suffering and chase after happiness, just as people do. Whatever they don't like, they avoid. They're afraid of dying just like people. If we reflect on this, we see that all beings in the world, people as well, are the same in their various instincts. Thinking like this is called bhavana, footnote, meditation, development, cultivation. Seeing according to the truth that all beings are companions in birth, old age, sickness, and death. Animals are the same as human beings, and human beings are the same as animals. If we really see things the way they are, our mind will give up attachment to them. Therefore, it is said we must have sati. If we have sati, we will see the state of our own mind. Whatever we are thinking or feeling, we must know it. This knowing is called Bhutto, the Buddha, the one who knows thoroughly, who knows clearly and completely. When the mind knows completely, we find the right practice. So the straight way to practice is to have mindfulness, sati. If you are without sati for 5 minutes, you are crazy for 5 minutes, heedless for 5 minutes. Whenever you are lacking in sati, you are crazy. So sati is essential. To have sati is to know yourself, to know the condition of your mind and your life. This is to have understanding and discernment, to listen to the Dhamma at all times. After leaving the teacher's discourse, you still hear the Dhamma because the Dhamma is everywhere. So therefore, all of you be sure to practice every day. Whether you are lazy or diligent, practice just the same. Practice of the Dhamma is not done by following your moods. If you practice following your moods, then it's not Dhamma. Don't discriminate between day and night, whether the mind is peaceful or not. Just practice. It's like a child who's learning to write. At first, he doesn't write nicely, big, long loops and squiggles. He writes like a child. After a while, the writing improves through practice. Practicing the Dhamma is like this. At first, you are awkward. Sometimes you are calm, sometimes not. You don't really know what's what. Some people get discouraged. Don't slacken off. You must persevere with the practice. Live with effort, just like the schoolboy. As he gets older, he writes better and better. From writing badly, he grows to write beautifully, all because of the practice from childhood. Our practice is like this. Try to have recollection at all times, standing, walking, sitting, or reclining. When we perform our various duties smoothly and well, we feel peace of mind. When there is peace of mind in our work, it's easy to have peaceful meditation. They go hand in hand. So make an effort. You should all make an effort to follow the practice. This is training.